Welcome down the warp pipe. I can't thank each and every single one of my subscribers enough for actually subscribing to the channel and checking out what's going on. To that effect, even if this is your first time, thanks for clicking on the video. And as part of this, I decided that I was going to go down to a local game store, ANC Games, in Toronto, and actually check out some of the games they had there, and more specifically, see what I could pick up for $100 in terms of fun, even if I could stretch it a little bit further by maybe not getting a few heavy hitters. So today, let's find out exactly what I managed to pick up here that could fit within that $100 range and still provide a ton of fun for someone who has almost every single console. In case you're new, I'm Tom. But if not, great to see you again. Unfortunately, due to getting there a bit later in the day, didn't get to capture a whole lot of footage inside. Actually, what you've seen now is actually all I was able to get, but I do promise to head back down there at the 1,000 subscriber mark in order to go and see exactly how much fun we can get with 1,000 Canadian dollars, and I promise I'll get a lot more footage then. Starting off with whatever I happen to grab out of the box here. So first up, we're gonna have Rainbow Six Vegas, and a game that actually I never ended up playing back in the day, despite having a passing interest. I always loved the Rainbow Six games back on PC, but when they transitioned over to being more console-centric with this series, I never bothered giving it the time of day. I did love the Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter series, and Splinter Cell Conviction was also a huge game for me. This one was only $5.99, which is part of the reason that I decided to pick it up, as it actually allowed me to only pick up a few games if it decided to go too high in price point. But this was still one that was on my radar from years ago, and I remember seeing friends play co-op and thought it'd be a great one to add to the collection. Alright, let's see what we got up next here on the wheel of game. Okay, another Xbox 360 game, Naughty Bear. One trend you might notice here is that I've leaned a little heavy on the Xbox, and specifically the Xbox 360 era, because those games are actually quite inexpensive to pick up nowadays. I'm not sure what the real reason behind it is, but it seems like people who have a love and passion for gaming in the past really don't care to pick up Xbox games, and I'm guessing there's just a lot of inventory out there, but this one was a bit more expensive at $19.99. Ultimately, it's a game about being a teddy bear and going to kill a bunch of other teddy bears. You're not always looking for something that's great, you're looking for something that's fun and you can have a blast and laugh at with, which really, that's what this game is about. It's about laughing and kind of stupid carnage, so it'll be a fun one to add to the shelf and pop on once in a while. And like I said, I never actually played the whole thing, just played the demo back in the day and thought, this is a mediocre but entertaining game. So now I can actually go through and play the whole thing. I didn't just pick up Xbox 360 games, and this one's actually one that my buddy GameCube Galaxy, link in the description below if you want to check out his channel. He's almost at 1,000, maybe we can push him over the edge. Did a review on this and it got me really excited. Similar $19.99 price, but I really don't have a GameCube collection. These little fun discs here are something that I wasn't really a part of back in the day, as I was primarily a PC gamer during this era and eventually got an Xbox after a PS2 that I got used broke and got destroyed, but that's a story for another time. Ultimately, Wave Race Blue Storm is a racing game on water, which I love because I'm a huge fan of Hydro Thunder as well. And although I have the N64 version of this game and have fond memories, I've always wanted to play the GameCube version, and even though I don't have a GameCube console yet, I do have a Wii, which means I can play the games natively. So why the heck not? Starting to build up a GameCube collection. Thank you, but also no thank you, GameCube Galaxy. Now, we're getting to the middle section, which, hey, you know what? Another GameCube game. So I was actually down there with my buddy Justin, and he mentioned that this one was kind of a sleeper hit, something that he remembered playing back in the day and really enjoyed. And to be honest, who doesn't love Batman? This one was $14.99. And I'm excited to try it out. It's done by Ubisoft, which during this era, I don't know if they were particularly good or bad. I mean, I enjoyed a lot of their games during this era, like Splinter Cell, the Rainbow Six, and Ghost Recon games on PC, but we'll see if this actually does end up holding up and is an awesome time. Who knows? Maybe GameCube Galaxy is one that you can maybe look forward to doing in the future.
I've already talked about Batman Vengeance, like in several videos. It's a good game.
Another Xbox 360 game. A lot of the PlayStation 2 or PS1 games that I wanted to pick up were enough to cut into exactly half or pretty darn close of the budget that I had, but that's totally okay because Amped 3 is a great racing game that I remember renting back in the day when I worked at Blockbuster and playing the heck out of. This one was also super cheap at $6.99. A lot of fun that's going to be had with this one when I can maybe do some more modern comparisons of racing games. But coming up soon, we're going to have a battle of the retro snowboard games featuring Cool Boarders, Snow Kids, and one of my personal favorites that I haven't played in a super long time, 1080 snowboarding. This is one that maybe we'll cover a later time in the future because honestly the AMP series I feel is super underrated. We're getting down to the last two here. This era is kind of one that you want to favor on the Xbox side versus the PS3 even if they're around the same price. Now that being said, even if they aren't backwards compatible, and I know Microsoft has said they aren't making any more backwards compatible, this is one that you can actually throw into an Xbox or, you know, well, not original Xbox, but Xbox 360 and still manage to play if you're lucky enough. And this one is going to be Remember Me by Don't Nod. The guys that are famous, or guys and gals, or people or folks, whoever you want to call them, for Life is Strange. This was back before that series and is actually a third-person action kind of melee combat game. It didn't get the greatest reviews, but for myself, I find I tend to love 7 out of 10 games more than I love 8 or 9 out of 10 games for the most part. Ultimately, this is still a really fun game that was pretty inexpensive, $12.99, that you can throw on and have a good time with. Disc is a little loose, but you know, I just have to remember it. The last one here, I actually can't even remember what it was. Yes, Spec Ops: The Line. This game is, well, it was $14.99, so the last little bit of money that I had here, and I balanced things out. There was games I put back on the shelf. It's a really solid 7 out of 10 third-person shooter from the era. It's got an awesome storyline that's well presented, and although it does have some choices in the game that you can make, and they don't ultimately impact the ending the way that you would expect, it's one that really does a good job of kind of featuring the terrors of war and why it's stupid that we're doing all this infighting. I mean, luckily it's been down to a kind of minimum, but honestly we just need to get rid of the top troublemakers. I'm not going to say more than that because this is about gaming and not about politics. This game does a great job of telling us why we need to stop killing each other. There's bigger things for us to worry about as a civilization. I don't believe that this will be one that I play anytime really super soon, but I do plan on getting to it at some point in the future. And that ultimately summarizes all the games that I ended up picking up. There was some ones that I did want to pick up, like Need for Speed, but it was a little bit too expensive to be able to grab as many games as I wanted. If you haven't seen it yet, I do have a video talking about how I plan to tackle my backlog for 2022, and I have a lot of homework to do, so I'm gonna go and play some games. We'll catch you. Nope, that's not what I say. I'm gonna go play some games.